Welcome, everybody, to the LIPSEY'S Aim Higher podcast. I'm Jason Klossner, and I'm sitting in hosting today. Rob Aberzino is out. We have another guest host today, Chris Faroo. Chris, how's it going today, bud?
It's good, man. I'm excited to be here, excited to talk about some new products that, initially strike me as not what Weatherby is used to coming out with. So this is going to be exciting.
Yeah, I think so. Chris, tell everybody a little bit about what you do here.
Yeah, so I'm one of the buyers here at LIPSEY'S. I've been buying Weatherby for 6 or 7 years now. So I'm pretty familiar with the line, pretty familiar with the history behind the company. I've been here at LIPSEY'S for about 10 years. So, but this is exciting. This is new for me.
Yeah, it is. Well, I tell you, Weatherby's not new for LIPSEY'S. We've had a long relationship with Weatherby. They're a great company, and we've done a lot of great things together. So I'm really excited because we have a brand new Weatherby launching today, and we have special guest Adam Weatherby and Raleigh, Whalen today to talk about the new Weatherby 307. What's up, guys?
How's it going?
Hey, thanks for having us on. Weatherby and LIPSEY'S goes way back, and so we're excited for you guys to be a part of such a big product launch for us.
It is. It's really exciting. I tell you, when y'all came down a couple weeks ago and showed us these guns, we walked out of there, and I think y'all had left, and I was like, I think I have to have one of those. That gun is really, really cool. You did a lot of neat things to it, and you got it at a price point that's, I think, we're going to make people really get excited. So tell us a little backstory on the new 307.
You bet. Yeah, it's our third centerfire rifle action in the history of our company that we've come out with. Obviously, the Mark V was in 1958, and my grandfather was a part of designing with his team of engineers. In 1971, we launched the Vanguard action. It's kind of more of a value placed product. And then in 2023, today, we are launching the Model 307. And a lot of people would say, well, why a third action? And there's a number of reasons, but I'll kind of, just give you the backstory is as we were developing this rifle action here at our headquarters in Sheridan, Wyoming, designing it with our team of engineers, we said we have a list of criteria. Number one, we want it to be U.S. built, and so it is, predominantly here in Sheridan, and then we team up with some other North American suppliers to bring about the Model 307. But we knew there were a few different things that we wanted to have. One was we really wanted to have a rifle that was going to have a lot of compatibility with a lot of aftermarket accessories, stocks, triggers, rails, mounts, etc., that typically maybe our Vanguard or Mark V didn't provide. And so we're not trying to replace those products, the Mark V with the 9-lug and 6-lug action. It's the strongest action, still is today. Houses a lot of our proprietary cartridges. The Vanguard still brings the value it does with the hammer forged barrel and everything it has to offer. But really, we were trying to go after really a new. Are you guys talking?
No.
Oh, sorry. I thought I heard some. We were trying to really come to market with a product, a new rifle that maybe people could, as Luke here at Weatherby always says, play rifle Legos. Could go out there and get a lot of aftermarket features, do a lot of semi-custom builds, maybe even some competition or semi-competition type of things where we've normally been predominantly in the hunting space. We knew that some people would take the Model 307 to the range and really have a lot of the compatibility and aftermarket support, and that a lot of maybe our competitors or people in this space have been playing in. The idea behind this 307 is that we'd come with a price point and with a set of features that people with the Weatherby name on it would say, man, that's a rifle that I need to have in my safe.
That, Adam, I think y'all are spot on with that. I mean, obviously the Mark V is a classic.
Yeah,
I mean,
iconic.
it's iconic. It is such a legacy action, but it does have some limitations, especially with some of the cartridges that you can chamber it in. And I think doing this 307 really opens up a lot of doors for that. So tell us first, I guess, about the 307 name. I think I know where it came from, but why don't you tell our audience why is it the 307?
Yeah, the first and foremost, 307 is the area code for all phone numbers in Wyoming. So we're a very small state, the smallest state in the union. And so 307 is our area code. So it's kind of a big pride number out here that we take in our state, having moved here about 4 or 5 years ago. And really this action and launch wouldn't have happened without our new location, new facility, and our new team. And so, and really what the state of Wyoming's done really to help us here. So really, that's kind of where the 307 comes from. A couple plays on numbers there is the number 3. It's our third centerfire rifle action. And the number 7 is that it is compatible with the 700. The Model 700, and then 0 is that there's no other action like it. So
that's what I always say.
that's what we always say.
Yeah, that sounds like something Raleigh came up with.
Yeah.
It is pretty cool though to have 307 as the tip of the cap to the Wyoming residents. That, yeah, I'm from Wyoming, and the dream job moved to me. Adam was fortunate enough to hire me, and no, it's just been great. So just seeing it all come together over the past couple of years, where we kind of realized, hey, if we're going to grow even beyond Mark V and Vanguard and do some expansion, let's do it right, and let's do it with a U.S.-made, Wyoming-made rifle. And boy, it's just all come together. It's so exciting to see.
And to get it at the price point that we wanted it to be at, we designed the rifle in such a way that we knew could be built both at our facility and with some key suppliers and partners. And so, we wanted what we tend to do fairly well is offer a lot of custom features in a production rifle. It's just kind of where our niche is, where we do fairly well. We're never going to compete at the very bottom end, but we're not a small custom shop. So we tend to kind of be in the middle, offering a lot of semi-custom features. So even as we design this action, whether it be the bolt release above the stock line, making it easier to upgrade the stock, again, the Trigger Tech trigger, and the mount holes on top being a little bit, larger, more robust, a number of different things we did to try to bring those type of features to a production rifle. And we can talk about the different models, but as a base action, I mean, it could really serve as really a builder's custom action in a production rifle price point. And so that was one of the things we know that we can do fairly well. And I think we met that objective with this rifle.
That's great. Yeah, I tell you, I mean, not only that, but the gun looks good too. And I think the action is it's nice and round. It's got sculpted. It just has a real clean look to it. And you see a lot of new rifles. It seems like they're coming out now. I mean, Chris and I see stuff all the time, and it's like good. It looks good, it functions well, but it just doesn't have that look. It's just clunky looking. And this is a real sleek design. And I just like the way it all is all put together. So let's talk about the action. So obviously it's a two-lug push feed action. It's basically a 700 footprint. So any kind of 700 stock would work with that. Talk a little bit about the magazine options and it's a 2-position safety and things like that, Adam.
Sure. Yeah, I'll talk about the action, and I think when we get the models, Raleigh can talk about those specifically. One of the unique features is the bolt. It is a toolless takedown on the bolt design, and so it's a unique feature to us in that the bolt sleeve on the back can come off rather easily in the field. So if you need to disassemble it, clean it, get gunk out of it, it's something that we can easily do in the field as the bolt handle is detachable. So that's one of the unique features about it. The bolt, all the bolts are spiral fluted, give it both a cool look as well as a pretty smooth feeding on it. So the 2 initial models are going to have the spiral fluted bolt on there. And again, with that, detachable bolt knob and so forth. So that's kind of a bit of the bolt. The receiver, we put some different lines on it and kind of Weatherby'd it a little bit, obviously. And again, kind of called the Model 307, says Sheridan, Wyoming on it. The mounting holes on top are the 840, so they're the larger size mounting holes. And one of our models actually is going to come with a Picatinny rail on it. We are doing the barrels here in-house as far as all the contouring, fluting, chambering, threading. All those things are here, so it's really the same quality that you could come to expect, like in a Weatherby Mark V. As far as accuracy is concerned, it will have the same accuracy guarantee as we do on the rest of our products. Sub-MOA, 3-shot group, that's the same on our Mark V and Vanguard. And so it's the case with these as well. And like I mentioned, all of them come with the Trigger Tech trigger. Getting too techy, that's kind of the high level of what we're looking at with this action.
What's the construction of the other receiver? Is it a stainless receiver that's coated, or is it carbon steel?
It's carbon steel.
Carbon steel. Mm-hmm. And what kind of?
Yeah, all Cerakoted.
All Cerakoted. Great. I think
graphite black Cerakote.
It's a good looking. It's a good look to it, and I think the spiral flutes on the bolt and the barrel gives it a nice. It gives it a racy kind of look. Chris, we're starting to see, more and more guns coming spiral fluted and everything, and I think the execution on this 307 is probably one of the nice ones I've seen. It just looks like sometimes they go a little too deep and a little too fast twist. This one's got a nice rate of twist to it, so to say. But
that's how the bullet spins. It's because of the flutes on the
bullet.
That's right.
Now, to be clear, the model we're currently looking at is the Range XP 307. So, I don't know, would you tell us a little about the stock design? Because it's a little different than a traditional Weatherby design.
You guys probably saw our Mark V Apex model that came out earlier this year. That is a Peak 44 design stock on the Apex. Peak 44 is a little sister company of Weatherby's that's in-house here in Sheridan, Wyoming. And we took that same model of stock, we took that profile and did a stock mold for the Range XP. And it just feels so good. It's a little bit more vertical than your traditional hunter style stock, but it also allows us to have an adjustable cheek piece. And it's, let's see,
spacers for length of pole as well. So we took it. It is a design from the ground up stock, as we did off our carbon fiber stock, like Raleigh said, and put it into a mold, and the texturing and so forth. That sometimes the stock with the more vertical grip and more shooter friendly stock can get a little bulky. This is a little hybrid, like where it can easily be taken into the field and hunted with, as well as feel very stable on the bench too. And so that was our goal through the design of this stock. Dual swivel studs on the front end as well. So it is a different look for Weatherby, but if you've been following us the last couple of years and what we've done in the Mark V line and in our carbon fiber, it actually fits a lot with the direction of where we've been going. It's lightweight. It's a combination of trying to be as lightweight as possible, but also provide enough stability for the bench and for some stable shooting. So it's kind of a hybrid there, but it does come with the adjustable cheek piece and spacers back on the recoil pad.
Yep.
Yeah, it's good looking stock. I like the texture on the stippling as well.
Yeah, and the caliber choices, I guess, are centered around the Magpul bottom metal. So that is kind of the determining factor for it. So we have, 243, 240, several of the smaller caliber offerings, but we actually don't have a 300 Weatherby in the Range XP, and that's solely because of the Magpul bottom metal.
But it does go up to the 300 Win Mag. So, when this podcast goes live, obviously on weatherby.com, I'm sure on your guys' website as well, you'll see the different calibers that it launches in. But the Range XP will have 12 calibers in short and long, all with the detachable Magpul magazine. So the stock has been designed to fit what we call bottom metal, but it's bottom plastic. But Magpul, the Magpul bottom assembly there. And what's cool is, if people don't know, is those are manufactured outside of Cheyenne, Wyoming, and so it's really a Wyoming collaboration on the bottom of the rifle there. It's kind of cool.
Well, and it's also cool that it's a very cost-effective option for somebody to have extra magazines. So some of these magazines that are, these steel magazines, these AIs and stuff like that, and they can get pretty expensive. And I know some of the other brands that have proprietary detachable magazines, it's a great concept until you look at the extra magazine's $120, and then people get a little sticker shock from that. And you start duct taping your mag to your gun at that point. But this gives you a lot of good options, and it's affordable. The Trigger Tech trigger is a great option. We're seeing a lot more rifles now, and I really have come to really like that trigger a lot. I think them and Timney really kind of own it right now, and I've kind of gotten to where I kind of favor the Trigger Tech a little better personally. It looks like all these guns are going to be threaded with muzzle brakes and with caps, correct?
That is correct. Yep. standard suppressor ready. You mentioned real quick on the trigger techs, we've run those for the last few years in the Mark V line, and we've just had tremendous results with those. I'm sure a lot of the dealers have seen great results as well out there. So it was just a natural fit for us to put those into the 307 line.
They're absolutely one of our best suppliers. Great people to deal with, make a quality product, incredibly consistent. We did triggers for 50 years. And we just realized, that's all Trigger Tech specializes in, and I think they've just mastered it and come out with a phenomenal trigger. So, so it's all in there. And when you add up, like you said, it is threaded on the end with muzzle brake. On the Range XP, it's the spiral fluted barrel. It is all Cerakoted too, all the metal work. Mm-hmm. And so you're looking at the rifle we're talking about for an MSRP of $11.99. Really a custom 700 action, adjustability on length of pole and comb, mag pole, hardware on the bottom, Trigger Tech trigger, flutes on the bolt, flutes on the barrel, threads on the end, muzzle brake. I mean, that was again the goal from the beginning, was really to hit that price point so that we could get it in the hands of as many people that would want to step into this Weatherby, as well as feature it up with a lot of features that a customer would expect from a more expensive rifle. And I think we're pretty proud of it, as you can tell, of what that final package is.
And you did it at a weight that's still very light, but like you mentioned earlier, it's very shootable. Now, Chris and I talk about this all the time. We're always hashing back and forth, rifles, perfect rifles for this, perfect rifles for that. And I think we both kind of went down the rabbit hole of getting as super light as we could get for a while. And it's great to carry, but when you're out shooting, especially out in Wyoming or somewhere else where it's really windy and the conditions are rough, those guns can be hard to steady.
Not very stable.
No, it's actually having a gun that's maybe just a tick heavier is actually a lot more usable when you actually need it.
Yeah.
So I think the weight that you came out with these rifles is right in the sweet spot of being light but also shootable.
Yeah, that was the whole thing, that it could be multi-purpose. That Range XP starts at 7.3 pounds, then goes to 7.5 or whatever.
That's right.
In the long action. And so it's, we have 5-pound backcountry carbon fiber guns in the Mark V, and we got
under 5.
Yeah, we got heavier stuff too. But that was really what we wanted, was light enough to carry, but stable enough for the Wyoming wind.
Yeah.
So, it is what we tried to do with that.
We did well with that. And let's talk a little bit about barrel lengths. That's, it's funny. Obviously everybody knows that's familiar with us. We do a lot of special makeups and everything. And when we're trying to figure out what barrel length to do something in, that's probably our number one debate, because that's the hardest thing to do. Because you get 10 guys in the room, you're going to get 3 or 4 different answers on what's the ideal barrel length for any cartridge out there. It looks like you guys kind of went with pretty much standard, or at least on the XP, with 22-inch barrels on short actions, 24-inch on long action standards, and 26-inch on magnums. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah, that is correct. Mm-hmm. And we're always innovating and looking at new ways to do things with the barrel lengths, as everybody is. But we kept it pretty standard for now. And
there's we're obviously going to be able to, over the years, build some new models on here. I'm sure as shorter barrels are becoming more the thing, and as suppressors are becoming more the thing, I'm sure we'll have that. But at the beginning, we wanted to offend the least amount of people as possible and have a rifle that would be there. On our Weatherby mag, for instance, we have a 257. Guys buy it for the velocity, so to chop back the barrel.
Right.
Most of the guys, they want that extra speed.
Yep.
And so we do try to balance, a bit of people wanting something more shorter and agile and suppressor friendly, with trying to get the utmost out of velocity. And so we started fairly standard on this first run here, just to try to meet all everybody where they're at.
And I think that's smart too, because I think being in the industry, obviously we're always on what's the new cutting edge, whatever is a hot thing at the moment. And we get kind of wrapped around, suppressors and short barrels are a hot thing, but then you go to a hunting camp somewhere and, there's 3 guys that have suppressors and there's 25 guys that don't. And so I think, we kind of forget a lot of times that a lot of the guys out there hunting do want traditional barrel lengths. They're not suppressing them, so they don't necessarily want a short barrel, 7mm Magnum that's going to just be obnoxious to shoot. They want to take advantage of that velocity, and I think Weatherby's always had that kind of that tradition of high velocity, flat shooting cartridges anyways and performance. So I think I kind of agree with the decision to go that route. I think with your brand and with really what the reality is out there, I think you're going to probably hit the most amount of people.
Exactly. But no matter what, when you launch it, everybody on the internet will be left hand wants a 21.2-inch barrel and wants it, colored purple.
Right.
We
1
always,
in 5 twist.
yeah.
Right.
It's hard to make the whole internet happy.
No,
Yeah.
you can't.
Well, and that being said, too, I mean, I know you have your Weatherby fan base where they want the speed and the flat shooting, but I see some interesting caliber choices in this brand or some of the newer Hornady loadings. You want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, we did decide to do some PRC rounds in here. So we do have the 7 PRC and the 6.5, and the
300 PRC as well.
300.
Yeah.
And so part of depending on the model, and part of that was we knew that some people are going to say, well, you've traveled too far from your roots, or your grandfather, he would be ashamed, and all those things. Whenever we come out with anything new, that's what people always say. If it's not traditional and a wood stock, Roy Weatherby wouldn't have liked it. But here's the fact of the matter: when my grandpa came out with things in the 40s, it was innovative. And so when he had a belted, rounded shoulder cartridge that went faster than anything else, he did that. But I remember when my dad came out with our first fiberglass stock that wasn't wood in the early 80s, my grandpa thought it was ugly till he realized that's what customers wanted, and it sold, and then it was his favorite gun all of a sudden. And so at the end of the day, we think that these rifles in the Model 307, not only are we selling them to Weatherby customers, we're selling them to people that are in the market for a new rifle. And we know that maybe some of the things about a Vanguard or a Mark V being more of a closed system have closed them off to that. And so maybe these caliber offerings and features we have on these products will actually appeal to a new customer, and they can become part of the Weatherby family and experience the quality craftsmanship and the fit and finish and the things that people have come to love over the years. And maybe they'll go out and buy a Mark V and something or do something different, but it is appealing to a different customer. And Chris, like you mentioned, even I think with the calibers, not everybody needs to shoot a Weatherby mag caliber or have it for every gun. And so I think our idea was to appeal to more people than maybe we hadn't before.
Yeah. No, I think that's great. I mean, that shows progress.
Right. Well, I can remember 25 years ago when I started at LIPSEY'S, the Vanguards, we sold tons of Vanguards because you could get them in a standard caliber. Yeah. I mean, back at that time, really Mark V's, I don't even think were even really available much less and other than Weatherby calibers, maybe 30-06 or something like that. But it was very limited, and you didn't see very many of them. Yeah. So we sold a ton of Vanguards because people still wanted that Weatherby name. They wanted that Weatherby, quality. It's funny. Weatherby is one of those brands where if a guy shows up at a hunting camp or something like that, he wants to brag that he has Weather. It's a aspirational brand to have. And so to offer that in something that maybe is a little more practical for the guy who's just deer hunting in the Southeast or wherever, or maybe just wants to go shoot long-range steel somewhere and doesn't want to shoot 80 grains of powder every time he pulls the trigger. He wants to shoot something a little softer on the shoulder. Then it makes sense, but you can still give that person that Weatherby brand and that legacy. So I think it's a great move. I love seeing the new stuff in there. I like seeing the new models. I think this 307 is going to be a home run for you guys. It's just looking at it. It's a really, really nice rifle in a price point that, honestly, the options that are out there right now are pretty stale at that price point. It seems like this gun, I think, is really gonna shake it up in that level. But you also have another model too that we're going to talk about as well.
Yeah. So the second model is the Alpine MDT. That you guys are offering.
Yeah, so this is a second model, and we're starting off with only 2 models in the 307 line, and we really just want to do it right. We don't want to start with the shotgun pattern and just test the market as we go. I think we're really starting smart by only offering 2 initial models, and more to come down the road. And we'll do another podcast at that point and talk about those. But really, the Alpine MDT is a Hunt 26 chassis. It weighs 26 ounces. It's a folding chassis. One of the things out here in Wyoming that a lot of the hunters are doing now is just folding up their stock, putting it in their backpack. They want it lightweight. Carbon fiber helps with that. It cuts this stock or the overall gun weight down to 6.8 pounds, which really you have the same barreled action, same barrel. Everything is really the same across the board between the Range XP and the Alpine MDT. The big differences are the stocks, and the Alpine MDT also comes with a new, we call it the J rail around the office, but it's a Picatinny rail with the back few tabs cut off. I don't know if you guys can see that.
Oh yeah.
But it allows you a little bit more scope travel so that you can actually mount your scope with low mounts on the pick rail and have total freedom. When, if you're mounting the scope on a pick rail, you don't really use those back couple tabs anyways, and you still get plenty of eye relief. If you're making an adjustment with, say, a big night force on there or something like that, you have plenty of travel. So, but this stock alone runs MSRP $1,700, I believe, $1,700. So it adds a lot of cost to that gun. So it's coming in quite a bit higher than the Range XP. But it's very competitive in that price point with other manufacturers that have recently come out with models that are in this Hunt 26 chassis. This chassis is just unbelievably popular right now, but there's a reason for it. It's because it's awesome and it's lightweight and gives you everything you need in a chassis.
I hunted with it this past fall, and it was super fun because you got a lot of the features that you would, like put an Arca rail bipod on the front. A lot of these features, being able to attach things onto the stock, which is carbon fiber and magnesium. And what's cool is, too, when you get in the truck and you put it in the rack or whatever, be able to fold up that buttstock and you get so much of a shorter overall length. It's a pretty cool thing, but, I mean, it starts in at, under 7 pounds, to be able to get into it. So it's a fun, different model just to kind of show what we can do with this action.
And it's slim and trim, too. It's not bulky like some of the chassis guns you see out there. It's funny. I was always like, I don't know about chassis guns for hunting and everything. I just couldn't get into them. And then I was talking to one of the guys from EXO, the backpack guys, and they were talking about, they had gone to chassis guns, and their big thing is like, when you got your backpack on, you got that stock folded, you can just sit down, and you don't have, you're not banging your side. You can just go right to the ground and get back up, and you're not messing with the things. I thought that makes sense. That all of a sudden that's like, it started to make like, okay, maybe I need to give this chassis another look. And when you guys brought this one the other day down for our sales meeting, I always think about chassis. I think about aluminum, think about noisy. It's going to bang on things, everything. And this being the carbon fiber, it's like having a regular stock gun. This was the first chassis gun that I really kind of took notice of and said, okay, I could get on board with this one. It's minimalistic, but it's got all the comfort. I mean, when you get behind this thing, I can't wait to go shoot this gun because just when we were messing around when it came in today, just holding everything, it just got a great feel, and the cheek wells are really nice on it, and I'm pretty pumped about giving this one a go.
Yeah. Yeah, and another thing I noticed too on this particular stock is it looks like they're using a flush fit 3-round magazine, which I don't know if that's proprietary to them or to this model, but it appears that you can also put in the 5-round AICS pattern magazine with it as well if you wanted more capacity. Is that accurate? Yeah.
It's correct. It's going to come with the 3-round flush, but the 5-round AICS it's compatible with. So again, part of the whole premise of this 307 was to not have this closed system, be able to have some things going on there. So in fact, when I had some earlier prototypes last year I was hunting with, I hunted with the 5-round, magazine on there and stuff. So absolutely.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, you could have the 5-round. You could buy the 5-round and then have the 3-round as your backup in your pack if you wanted. Or, guys can do what they want with these guns, which is just awesome to see. If a guy decides he doesn't want this chassis model, he could buy a Range XP and then buy the chassis that he wants, fit it into the Range XP. You can play Legos, like Adam said earlier.
Yeah. Yeah, it's. I think it's a cool deal. I think this 307 is going to be really good for you guys. I know it's going to be good for Lipsey's. I know we're going to be excited to get them in and everything. Is there any? I mean, the cartridge selection, even though it doesn't have some of the 300 Weatherby and like that you talked about, you pretty much got all the bases covered here. I mean, you even got 280 Ackley in there, which it's like a fan favorite over here. So that's we're pretty pumped about that one. And I even noticed some of your guns, like in the 243 and stuff, you have a pretty fast twist in there to stabilize some of the heavier bullets and everything. So I think you guys really thought these out, and I think they're gonna be pretty successful. Is there anything else
we were able to start fresh, and so by doing that, even rates of twists and everything, it was a fresh start to say, what are customers wanting right now? So absolutely, even down to rates of twists, they've all been thought through. And if customers want to look at both those models, there are some different caliber offerings, basically depending on the magazine. So like the 300 Weatherby, for instance, is available in the Alpine MDT because the magazine will accept it. And so you can kind of, start low, go high. I think the only other thing to mention is from a timing perspective, we're launching this May 31st of 2023. We will be going into production. We've had a bunch of pre-production and, prototypes and a lot of things that we've been doing, but we will be going into full production here this summer. So there will be a ramp-up process from the summer into the fall. Obviously, Lipsey's, you guys being just one of our great accounts for so many years, we'll make sure to get them in your hands as soon as they become available. And it will be both shorts and longs, and in both models that will be shipping later on this summer. So if people, get their orders in or have questions on that, kind of as we ramp up, really from July on, it'll just be ramping up. We'll be getting more and more out there.
And that sounds great. I know we've got them on order, and we're ready to get them in. So look, everybody out there, go check out Weatherby's website, go to their socials. Raleigh, where else can they find you guys? On Instagram, everything else?
Yeah, Instagram is a good spot for us. We have quite a few marketing influencers out there that you guys probably know. The Hush Guys is a good one, and Meat Eater.
Yeah, Facebook and Instagram, YouTube channel. We'll have, of course, our website will have a lot of these things. We'll have some launch videos coming out, talking about it. And so, the next week, people are going to be sick about hearing it from us. That's the goal. So,
the dealers watching this, if they like podcasts, they should check out our On Our Mark podcast. We're actually sitting in the On Our Mark podcast room right now. It's on YouTube. And
in addition to the podcast I'm doing with you guys on Lipsey's, we will be launching, I think, a couple podcasts here in the first week that we did. One of them very technical in nature, where we got our engineer on and so forth. So if they follow our podcast, they can geek out even more. So plenty of ways to find out about the new rifle.
Well, great. Go check all that out. Check out our review coming up. We're gonna go shoot these guns and put them through the ringer. We got 2 308s here, so we got gonna give them a good run through and kind of do a good full evaluation on that as well. So go check us out on LIPSEY'S.com for all your dealer needs, and also go to our YouTube channel, subscribe there, and obviously give us your review here on the podcast. Go check out all the Weatherby socials. They've got a great marketing team over there that does a lot of great information. So go check that out. And then Adam, Riley, we really appreciate you coming in and spending a little time with us and going over this new gun, man. I'm really excited about it.
Thanks, Jason, Chris. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, guys, and we'll be in touch. And, thanks for being a part of the launch. It's a historic moment for Weatherby, and we're honored to be able to be on the Lipsey's podcast talking about it.
You got it, guys. We'll do it again soon. All right, gang, until next time, aim higher.